Good morning, student. Today we are going to revise the second chapter, Lost Spring. The name of the chapter is Lost Spring, and this is the story written by the Annie's Jung. Student, this chapter is divided into two parts, and both of the parts are related to the problem of poverty, the child labor, and many other also that our society is suffering from these kind of disease. The first part is revolve around the character of Sahib-e Alam. Sahib-e Alam, who is a rag picker, and the rag picker, they came from Bangladesh, Dhaka, because all of their field have been flooded out. So they don't have any kind of other resources for surviving. They came from Bangladesh in Delhi, the outskirt area of Simapuri. They are living there in their temporary tent houses in very insanitary conditions there, and the children of these families are dependent upon rag picking. Rag picking is the only resource for their earning. Student, the chapter name is Lost Spring. Why don't you think about that? Lost Spring. Why the narrator give the name of Lost Spring to his chapter? Why? Because I think that the word spring, this is the most precious season of the year. We have so many seasons in a year: winter, summer, autumn, rainy season, spring. Without spring, everything is just going out ugly, not beautiful. Spring is the only season that makes our earth green, prosperous, beautify. Without spring, actually we can't imagine the earth as a green planet. Same here. We have so many types of stages in a human being age. We have the childhood, we have the young age, adult, and the old age. Student, the childhood is the most precious age. Here the narrator used the word lost spring. Suppose we just taken out the season of spring from the other season, and then I will give you a year that this year you will not have the spring in the particular year. So what will happen? Nothing. Same here. If the period of childhood has been lost from the age of the human being, nothing will be remain, because childhood is the most precious, most really beautiful. I have no words to be explained. You know very well that the childhood is the most beautiful age of our life, and after completing the period of childhood, when we step into the adolescent age and then the youth, then we get so much responsibility and we lost our careless look and all musty energy at all. Same here, the children of the rag picking area, they really lost their childhood in doing these kind of child labor and many others errands also. That is why the writer named the chapter Lost Spring. Students, continue the main point of the chapter, that the people belong to Bangladesh, Dhaka, and they lost their everything because of flood. They didn't have any resource of survival. They came to Delhi, outskirt of the area that's called Simapuri, and they do rag picking there. Narrator Annie's Jung meets with the children, and she asks them, why you do these kind of work such as rag picking? They say that they don't have anything to do. The narrator asks, why don't you go to school? The children replied that because there are no schools for them, that's why they do not want to go to school. The narrator then said that of course I will make a school for you, then you have to come there. The children said, of course, if you want to make a school for us, we will surely come there. Then the narrator asked the name of the character, one of them. The name of the character was Sahib-e Alam. And what is the meaning of the Sahib-e Alam is? That's Lord of the universe. Students, really there is an irony in the name of Sahib-e Alam. What kind of irony is? Irony means the different meaning of the name of the character is Sahib-e Alam. That means the Lord of the universe. And what kind of work he's doing here? He's doing rag picking. Totally opposite from the name of. whatever his father or mother named him, the Sahib-e-Alam. There is irony in the name of Sahib-e-Alam because the work he is doing there, it's not according to his name. The children involving in the business of the rag picking and rag, the garbage is a gold for them. Garbage is called gold for them. Why? Because gold, it means very precious, and the garbage is really very precious to the children. The garbage is not only the medium for their survival, but sometimes they get the coins of 1 and 2 rupees coin, sometimes they get 10 rupees note, the broken toys, the discarded shoes, and many other things, and that seems very important to them. That is why that's a source of wonder for them, and they involve in these kind of business. Narrator asks, why don't you wear the chappals, the slippers? So one of the child replied that yes, we have the slippers, but mother, don't get them out from the shelf. It means they just mock of they enjoy their poverty. They make fun of them that yes, of course we have slippers, but we don't wear of them. So they have habitual to live in that kind of situation. They surely they have some identifications card provided by the authorities, but that identifications card not enough to provide them the resource of such as food, grain, and other resources to fill their stomach, but these identification card to given them just to receive vote from them. The administrative people really taking the advantages of these children, of these people. They giving them their identifications card, the ration card, not to giving them some kind of food material, but to receive vote from them. That is really a disastrous situation they are living out there. They have no hope, there are no one to help them out, and there were no one who tried to keep them out from that bad situations there. So Sahib-e-Alam, that's Lord of the Universe, do the work quite opposite to his name. Now, author painted by the fact that the rag picker are still barefoot, and the author remember a man from the Udupi who, a young boy, would pass a temple where his father was a priest, pray for a pair of shoes, and 30 years later the author visited the town. Behind the temple there was the house of new priest, and Annis noticed the young boy, the priest, who arrived the panting, and the young boy he was wearing shoes. The writer was reminded of the boy who prayed that he should never lose his shoe. The goddess that granted prayer, as most of the young boys, they now have shoes to wear. According to narrator, in the previous time of the India, some of the children of the priest children, they also didn't have shoes to be wear, but now they have, and she is very hopeful that in future maybe these rag pickers would have the shoes in their foot. Garbage is called gold for them because the place has no running water, because I have already informed that garbage is a kind of wonder to them, source of wonder, source of so much precious thing to get for these children, such as the discarded shoes, some discarded materials, some broken toys. They are living in very insanitary conditions there, because the place has no running water facility, no drainage. The rag pickers have lived here for the past 30 years, some even more, without identity, yet they have valid ration cards. Not having an identity does not bother them if at the end of the day they don't sleep with empty stomach. They prefer to live here rather than in the field at home, which give them no grain. They who once lived in the beautiful land of the green field and rivers are now compelled to pitch their tent wherever they find food. Now they are living the life as gypsies, homeless persons, the vagabonds. Lost spring. One winter morning, the author sees Sahib outside the fence gate of the neighborhood club. He is watching a game of tennis, and Sahib seems to be fascinated by the game. He tells the author that sometime the guard lets him in and then he can ride the swing. The author notices the Sahib is wearing tennis shoes. Sahib tells her that someone gave them to him. Fact that was some rich boy discarded the shoe because there was a hole in one of them does not bother him. One day when author watched that Sahib-e-Alam wearing the shoe, and she was happy to see them that of course he was wearing the shoes, and she asked about it. Then he said that he got this shoes from the garbage, because some of the rich boy discarded these shoes because there is a hole inside them. But Sahib have no problem with the hole because he just want to have shoes in his foot, nothing else. Sahib no longer in his own master, but narrator again and again insist him, just you have to change your profession, this is not a sophisticated profession to do. That is why the Sahib changed his profession, and now one morning the author sees Sahib on his way to milk booth. He is carrying a steel canister. He informed the author that now he works at the tea stall and is paid 800 rupees and all his meals. But the author feels that Sahib is not happy. His face has lost its carefree look. The steel canister seems heavier than the plastic bag. Which kind of plastic bag? The bag he carries to pick the garbage. The bag was his, because the bag was his. The work of rag picking he just do according to his own will. But the canister belongs to the owner of the tea stall. Sahib is no longer his own master. The work, doing the work as a tea vendor is so-called sophisticated if we compare this work to the work of rag picking. But now Sahib have to do work under the order of the tea shop owner. Now he is not as much as free as he was before, because the canister he is carrying, that is full of the tea, it's heavier than, not heavier it means the burden it means to say the that was the material he is now carrying according to the other's order. And when he was doing the work of rag picking, he was doing its on and on. That's why in both of the cases he lost the precious time of his childhood. And that is the story, the first part of the child, the lost spring. Students, tomorrow we will discuss the question of this part also, and you have to revise this chapter. This is very important. The ironical object, I have already informed that the irony in the name of Sahib-e-Alam and many other important part. Tomorrow we will discuss the questions. Thank you. Goodbye.